You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
Let's go ahead. Let's get into these stories, man, because yesterday we found out that Texans head coach David Culley got his walking papers. The Houston Texans fired this man, and reports were coming in before that he was operating like he was going to be back for a second season. Now, I thought that he would actually be back for a second season, but the McNair family thought otherwise and kicked him out. So now you have David Culley and Brian Flores, two black players, have not gotten fired. And we knew it was only going to be a matter of time before the sports media started playing the race card. And they have now played the race card. And this is really not a surprise to me. Were you expecting this, Two Roads?
For David Culley to get fired, or for the sports media to play the race card?
Well, for the sports media to play the race card. And did you expect David Culley to be fired?
I expected David Culley to be fired Sunday night or Monday. However, then by about midday Wednesday, I was like, wow, David Culley's safe. He's going to make it. Now, for full disclosure, we cover Texas sports on Newsbreak. Go subscribe. And the Texans is a big part of that channel for us.
Yes.
So I've been really paying attention to this David Culley thing. And I thought, okay, he's actually going to make it. Because I'm going to be honest with you. I think David Culley did an admirable ass job for that Texans train wreck down there. I do. A couple of different things came out of that season. Number one, I think Davis Mills is their franchise quarterback. But number two, the amount of wins, him matching the wins from the year before when they had Deshaun Watson playing, him matching those wins, hell, that's pretty admirable with Rex Burkhead as your starting running back.
Yeah, and they lost Tyrod Taylor, too.
They lost Tyrod Taylor. Danny Amendola actually contributed. He got a lot out of those guys.
Yeah.
But there was a major flag on the play. As we know, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, boom, Brian Flores got fired. Yeah. And it was like, whoa, Brian Flores got fired. And then all of a sudden it was like, okay, there are major Patriots ties in that Texans organization between Jack Easterby, who's a train wreck, and Nick Caserio, who's not a train wreck. Okay. So as soon as that happened, all of a sudden I thought, okay, they fired David Culley when they found out that Brian Flores was in play. And now they've really got three potential candidates in Houston, and all three of them have major Patriots ties. And Brian Flores is their number one pick if they could have him right now. We don't know. So,
but however, these guys getting fired, though, I don't believe it had anything to do with their race.
Not a thing.
Not a thing, but of course, you got articles like this that say for a black NFL head coach, there is no getting ahead. And this is from Shalise Manza Young, Yahoo Sports columnist, Woke Sports Media. Says, as I write this, there's just one black NFL head coach. One. And that single black coach in a 32-team league, Pittsburgh's Mike Tomlin, has never had a losing season in his 15 years at the helm. This is the standard to which black coaches are held, an almost impossible one. The Houston Texans fired David Culley on Thursday after just one season on the job and 3 days after putting him through the dog and pony show of sitting before media on Monday and talking as if he were getting a year two. Now, I believe that David Culley got a raw deal from the start. He was a social justice hire. There's no doubt about it, because at the time, Deshaun Watson was a starting quarterback, and he wanted to sit out because he wanted to say, and he wanted a black coach.
Correct.
And then the Texans bent the knee. They go out and get David Culley, and it's not his fault, but he was a social justice hire. And like Rose said, I think he did a pretty good job. I didn't see him getting fired, but I don't believe it was because he was black. Now, Brian Flores, we're going to talk about Brian Flores while he was fired, and that's a different story.
Not in the least, because of the 3 contenders that the Texans are interested in, 2 of those guys are black. Yeah. So race is not even a fact. It's not a factor with any of these firings. I mean, yeah, we're all surprised by Brian Flores being gone, but I mean, we're starting to hear a few things coming out of Miami that are certainly raise your eyebrows anyway. Right. about Brian Flores. So
we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah, Culley, he did get a raw deal. They hired him because they thought it would placate Deshaun Watson, which I could have told them it was not going to, because David Culley's name wasn't big enough to move the needle.
No.
Plain and simple.
And they probably thought they would keep the woke sports media at bay. But when it comes down to it at the end of the day, when you continually play the race card, it's not going to work out. Just hire the best person for the job. And they even talk about Airbnb, but we know Airbnb has some baggage. He's a black guy, but it's kind of funny how the sports media for many years didn't say anything about Airbnb, but then we found out about his baggage. We're not even going to talk about that here. And teams want to stay away from him because of that. But not only this article here, but you also have, and this is a surprise to nobody right here. Now, when I found out that David Culley got fired, this is the first person I went to see what they were going to say. And of course, Jemele Hill does not disappoint at all. You can see here, John McClain, Texans fired David Culley after 1 season, HoustonChronicle.com. Jemele Hill tweets, 1 black coach in the league now. Well done, NFL. So we know Jemele Hill is just going to come out of the woodworks to race bait this whole entire thing.
Yep.
This is all she's good for. This is it.
There could be another way to look at this too, Jemele Hill. David Culley actually got a shot when nobody thought he was qualified for the job.
And he got it.
Nobody thought he was the best the Texans could get for the job. I mean, let's be real. We could go back and look at all the candidates. And in fact, one could say, yeah, Culley overexceeded expectations. But the guy was black when he got hired, okay? He wasn't white and then turned black halfway through the season, and then they fired him over it. That's not the way that worked, okay? No. He got the job to begin with.
Now, that article I brought up, they brought up Mike Tomlin. There's a reason why Mike Tomlin ain't going anywhere. He's a damn good head coach. And also, by the way, how long was Marvin Lewis in Cincinnati? Didn't win one single playoff game. Wasn't he there for like 15 years or something?
Marvin Lewis is the literal creation of Marvin Lewis 1.0. The epitome of watch me go 10-6 and get booted the hell out of the playoffs in the first round at record speed. I mean, come on. We know how that works.
Yes.
My God, Jason Garrett got a new nickname because of Marvin Lewis.
You dubbed him Marvin Lewis 2.0. 2.0.
God.
Had nothing to do with race, man, but I'm not surprised. But David Culley, like I said, raw deal. He should have stayed the Texans. Actually, you know what? He should have never been the Texans head coach, but the McNair family, they bent the knee. And this is what happens when you don't make sound decisions. They hired him based on race. And this is the end result you get.
It's what happens when you hire that not based on performance.
Yes.
When you hire not based on credentials, this is what happens right here. You have a lame duck right off the bat. By the way, Adam Schefter reported yesterday, he had a source. As soon as David Culley got fired, the guy in the league texted Adam and said, this was their plan all along, or this is what they suspected was going to happen. So they hired him strictly to try to placate Deshaun Watson to see if they could keep him.
Yeah.
That was it.
Now, if I'm a team, would I actually look at David Culley? Yeah, based on what he did with the Texans when nobody thought they would probably win a game, really, I would look at him.
Hey, I would love the Niners to hire him as an assistant coach or as the special teams coordinator. I would love.
He'll get another job in the league, but I don't know. It's not a guarantee he's going to be a head coach again. That's not a guarantee.
It's not a guarantee. Oh no, SB 1982 just made a comment. David Culley is Jim Tonsula 2.0. Jim Tonsula was no, that's not a fact. I'm a 49ers fan. Jim Tonsula had no idea what he was doing out there. None. He was not qualified from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
David Culley flashed. He flashed as a head coach at times. Jim Tonsula didn't flash anything, okay? Anything except bubbles in water drowning. That's the only thing he flashed, okay?
You want to know?
No way.
You want to know the problem I do have with like the Rooney Rule, why it doesn't work? Remember when Jerry Jones fired Jason Garrett?
Yep.
Who was the first person that, well, I believe the second out, he had already interviewed, I believe, Mike McCarthy already. Who else did he interview? That'll be Marvin Lewis. And I immediately said, there is no way in hell he should hire him.
You just got Jason Garrett out.
You just got Jason Garrett out. You were just better off staying with Jason Garrett. Did he make the right call? Yes, he made the right call.
This close. Guys, you have no idea. He came this close to hiring Marvin Lewis. It was close between Marvin Lewis and Mike McCarthy in Dallas. It was very close. Closer than people think. Closer than Cowboy fans want to know it was. Marvin
I
Lewis
don't want to know
that
it was
job.
close.
Oh, yeah.
Because, man, if he had hired Marvin Lewis, man, I would have been just upset. Big time. It wouldn't have made any sense. It wouldn't have made any sense whatsoever to hire Marvin Lewis.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.